What up, this is SLAZ. In today's tutorial we're going to be looking at drawing two boomboxes, one which is basic and one which is more advanced. The boombox, or also called a Ghetto Blaster, is a kind of portable music system and was very popular in the 1980s and 1990s. They're basically the same as your Bluetooth speaker, but instead of connecting to a phone, you would listen to your music on cassette tapes and also to the radio. So first of all, we're going to draw this basic boombox design. So get your materials ready and let's get on with it. First of all, using your ruler and pencil, draw a rectangle shape. Now we need to divide this rectangle into 3 equal size segments. Now draw 2 lines, one near the top and one near the bottom of that rectangle. The sections on the left and the right will be where the speakers will go. Try and make sure that these 2 sections are roughly square in shape, not rectangular. We now need to draw a cross right in the middle of each of those 2 squares. Notice how I'm using the ruler and the pencil to draw a line right across both of the boxes. This keeps the line at the same height on both sides. You should have something by now that looks like this. You might be wondering why we've drawn those 2 crosses. Well, I'm going to show you now how you can use a cross to draw a circle. By splitting the circle into 4 separate quarters, it makes it easier to draw. Look at the space between the edge of the circle and the square box. That looks a little bit like a ramp. Those 4 ramps all need to look more or less the same. Once you've finished the left speaker, it is now time to move on to the right. Keep checking against the first circle to make sure they look about the same. By the way, these big speakers you're drawing now are for the bass and they're called woofers. Now we've finished drawing the outside of the speakers, we're going to do the middle of the speaker. This is just a smaller circle in the center of the cross. And this time we're going to look at these 4 sections and make sure they look about the same size. A bit like a pizza that's been cut into 4 quarters. Move across to the right speaker and do the same on that side. In the space between the 2 speakers, we are now going to draw the cassette deck. This is a tape cassette and you would put it into the cassette deck to play the music. I am now drawing a window in the cassette deck so you can see the cassette inside. And now we are actually drawing the cassette, or tape as they are also called. The bit I'm drawing here are the buttons that you use to control the tape, such as play, stop, fast forward, rewind, record. This circle here is to control the radio. And this bit here is the actual radio tuner. We're now going to draw 2 more boxes above the speakers. These are for the smaller speakers called tweeters. The tweeters are there to make the high-pitched sound, or treble, as it is also called. Now we're going to draw the handle. This is the part you would use to pick the thing up and walk around with it. And we're also going to draw some buttons on the top to control things like the volume. Finally, we're going to draw the radio antenna. You can draw this going in a different direction if you like. So we have now finished our pencil sketch, so it will be time to get our biro and go around all of the lines. Once you've done most of the line work, go over with your eraser and get rid of all the pencil marks. And finally, draw these lines in across the speaker cones. Next, get your black felt tip pen and we're going to start colouring in some areas. Now the felt tip pen I've been using does not have a fine tip, so to colour in the rest of the areas I'm going to use the biro. So with the felt tip pen and the biro, we are mostly colouring in the shadows to make the boombox look more 3D. We can also use the biro to draw some extra details in, such as this box around the radio area. And congratulations, you have now drawn the basic boombox design. If you want to, you can colour this in using your other felt tips. However, we're going to move on to the next part of the tutorial, the advanced boombox, as pictured here. It is common practice for artists to use a photo from a book or from the internet when they are drawing to copy ideas from. This is called a reference image. The image you see on the screen now is a photo of a boombox I found on Google image search. I will be using this as my reference image for the advanced boombox drawing. Hopefully you've already watched the basic boombox tutorial that we've just done. If not, I do advise watching that first, because a lot of the techniques we used on that we're going to use again now. Find a reference image of a boombox you want to draw and try and make your own design based on that reference image. So get your ruler and your pencil ready and a reference image and get drawing. When I'm drawing, I'm always looking at my reference image for ideas. Down in the bottom left you can see the reference image I'm using. I had to shrink it down to make it fit on the screen though. So we've now finished with the pencil drawing. Time to get the biro and go over the pencil marks. the space above the tape deck, I'm going to put in the letters YNM for your next move, using the square block letter alphabet. From this point on, most of the techniques we're going to be focusing on is doing shading with a pencil. So first, get a scrap piece of paper and have a go at doing these quick exercises. You probably already know that if you press hard when you're drawing with a pencil, you get a very dark line, and if you press softer, you get a very light line. You can also do a fade between dark and light by slowly releasing the amount of pressure on the pencil as you draw. So, for the rest of this video, I will be demonstrating how to use a pencil to colour in this boombox picture. Feel free to copy and use any of the techniques that I'm using here for your own drawing. Pay attention to the way I'm shading in the sides of the handles. I'm leaving white gaps either side of the shading. This gives the impression that the surface is reflective, like it's made of chrome or metal. Once you feel you're finished with the pencil and you've done as much shading as you can, it can be a good idea to get the biro and go in over the top to bring out any shadows and areas of darkness, just to make the rest of the image look more three-dimensional. Congratulations to anybody who's been following this part of the tutorial and drawing your own boombox complete with pencil shading, following the techniques that I've been demonstrating in this video. Before we go, I just want to say a special shout out and thanks to the dope producer who created all the music for this video. His name is Your Favorite, and please see below for a link to his music. But for now, thank you very much for watching this tutorial. Please tune in again soon to take your skills to the next level. Your next move.